Pokemon has always had an aspect of philosophy in all the games, spanning from 1998 to today. From general morality to deep hidden lore pieces that tell a deeper, troubled story of reality in the world that we all share, Pokemon puts love and care into the philosophical stories they tell. But this is no secret. I don't have to drop 20 examples for the average player to understand Pokemon's very clear emphasis on teaching kids good morals as they play. Time and time again, you'd find dialogue and decisions the game forced you to make where you were doing the right thing, and this wasn't just for the sake of the plot. I mean, when you think about it, the ghost Pokemon with terrible backstories relate one-to-one with old folk tales from early humanity, like the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, fake creatures used to scare children from putting themselves in harm's way. Phantump is exactly like Bigfoot, teaching children not to go into the forest alone. And don't go leaving a comment saying that wasn't the purpose and I'm reading into it too deep. I took one semester of myths and legends. I know everything about this. And please drop a sub if you want to see more Pokemon content like this, since I know you're down there leaving a comment anyway. Game Freak has carefully crafted each game from the perspective of trying to better the youth, teaching manners and right from wrong where applicable in the Pokemon universe. Black and White is an example of them wearing this theme on their sleeve, with truth versus ideals being the major plot point scattered from beginning to end. Pokemon has always had a sense of good and evil, and the main character is always in the position to save the world and do the right thing. But Black and White put extra emphasis on this, building a story where a morality issue stems from the legendaries of the game and echoes years and years later into the modern world. I think this concept was perfect for Pokemon and exactly the type of writing I wanted to see in these games, and with the added topics of N's relationship with his father and the larger question of whether or not Pokemon really want to coexist with humans, Black and White always had you looking at your playthrough from a critical, philosophical lens. I'll let my friend Red pick up on the more in-depth details of Black and White, but its themes is a massive part as to why I have it in my #1 spot for Pokemon. The game is at its best when it makes you pause and digest what you just read.
In Pokemon Black and White, we see it raise questions not only about truth versus ideals, but a lot of other philosophical ideas. For one, throughout the whole game there's a battle between what is right and wrong in terms of keeping Pokemon inside Pokeballs. One of N's themes partly resemble this whole concept. He leads the idea that Pokemon are our partners and shouldn't be confined by the Pokeball. Before this, not many times has the game actually made you think with what you are doing is actually messed up or not. Previously in the series, it was never really questioned if what we were doing was right or wrong, as I mean, we wouldn't really be able to play the game if we decided it was wrong to do so. Every time we face N, he uses Pokemon that is near the area you are fighting in. For example, in Charge Zone Cave, he uses Boulder and Clink. As well in Nacrane City, he uses Pokemon like Timepole and Timber, and calls upon these Pokemon to battle as friends, rather than of tools of battle. He teaches us to actually think about what we are doing, even though some things may feel so normal to do. As with everyday life, questioning what we are actually doing is important, or else we will possibly continue with any bad habits that we already have. There's a lot of other philosophical themes that could be seen through these games, such as seeing it through your rival Sharon. Sharon is fixated on trying to become stronger. Alder, the champion of the Unova region at that time, checks him and asks, "Becoming stronger, you say, is that alone enough of a goal?" And then at Twist Mountain he adds, "Having something you want to become is important. What is even more important is what you do with your newfound power." By the end of Black and White, Sharon realizes becoming strong for the sake of becoming strong doesn't hold much reason. He shifts his reason from becoming strong from just cuz to becoming someone people in Pokemon can depend on, as that is a much stronger motivation he can fall back on. As we can see in Pokemon Black and White 2, he becomes the first gym leader and a mentor to young trainers. This demonstrates to the player to have a why for whatever you want to do in life, a reason that is meaningful to yourself. Your other rival Bianca also tackles a lot of philosophical concepts and is honestly one of the most relatable characters in any Pokemon game. She starts off by being really confused on what she wants to do in life. At the start of the game, we see her confrontation with her father, and she kind of pulls the whole "I'm running away" cheese and packs her hobo stick and dips. This moment showcases to us that Bianca has no clue what she wants to do in life, which I'm sure is pretty relatable to a lot of people, because I can confidently say we all had that moment where we didn't know what we wanted to do. As she goes on her journey, she is constantly comparing herself to not only you, but Sharon as well. Both the player and Sharon are more talented than her when it comes to battling. This makes Bianca more insecure by comparing herself with the people around her. The more you progress in the game, the more Bianca realizes what she is and what she is not. She realizes she doesn't even want to be the strongest trainer of all time. Bianca teaches us it's totally fine to not have things figured out. Throughout your life and the experiences you have, they will show you what you enjoy and what matters most to you. It also shows us we should not compare ourselves to other people, as for one, we are all on different paths, but also to not feel the pressure to compete with other people, especially when, say for Bianca, Pokemon battling is something she doesn't want to do. By the end of the game, she actually finds out what she wants to do, and that is Pokemon research. Fast forward to Black and White 2, and she's Professor Jupiter's assistant, not only finding her purpose she was desperately looking for, but also living through it in the time of the games.
Make sure to sub to Red and me too. He's a Pokemon expert who's memorized the entire Pokemon soundtrack catalog like the back of his hand. He's a real one-on-one talent here. Moving on, we have a game that stood out to me as well when considering Pokemon's philosophical moments. Sun and Moon's philosophy is a little little more obscure is the word maybe. It's not necessarily embedded into the main story aside from your generic good versus evil Pokemon plot. The game finds ways to tie its deep life lessons and reflections in with the special characters and events similar to games prior. The only reason I single out Sun and Moon is mainly for one lovely NPC, the Pokemon Center Cafe guy. This man gives you outrageously beautiful thoughts and questions that make you really reflect whether you're a kid or an adult. Comments about how precious time is, about how we take the sun and moon for granted, and how life is busy and he hopes his cafe serves as a break for people. Just a real down-to-earth, knowledgeable philosopher. And he's stuck running the cafe. But maybe that's how he likes it. Sun and Moon has other little events too, again very similar to all the other gens, where side quests tell a story. Whether it's talking about how beating kids isn't good, I think. And my personal favorite, the garbage story. You walk up to Unk and his son cleaning trash, running their family business, and the dad battles you and gives his son the option to battle you as well, with the ultimate goal of seeing if his son has the grit to take over the family business. This little father-son bonding moment was great and teaches the kids playing about grit and determination and to ultimately never give up. All in all, Pokemon has always stuck to a sense of morals and the general philosophy of being a good human. Some games have stronger themes than others, and I feel that's when Pokemon is at its best. I feel sometimes the new games miss that, and maybe that's not Game Freak's fault. Maybe that's a product of the game industry's transition from putting care into deep story to who can make the coolest graphics. But I mean, have you seen Scarlet and Violet? Trolls aside, I hope they put an effort into bringing characters and themes like the ones we discussed into these prior games full force. I personally love when a game wears its theme on its sleeve, and doubling down with a thought-provoking idea that can both affect the lives of kids and adults alike is a masterpiece waiting to happen. Black and White did it, Arceus brought back the formula in strides, and I think ultimately they can do it again. Arceus is crazy, by the way. Can we just talk about that? Imagine being a kid trapped in an alternate reality all alone, forced to figure it out yourself. Is there philosophy in that too? How the main character perseveres through all the trials and tribulations? Nah, probably not. It's been real, guys. Check out Red's channel, link in the description. I think I linked it in the end screen here too. More Pokemon content coming soon. Thank you all for watching and see you next time. And drop a sub while you're here.